Hello everyone, welcome back to the online learning session for the subject Global Competencies and Personality Development. Now we are in the second unit of this subject. The second unit deals with self-awareness and development. And till this session, we have covered the basic definitions of self-awareness, then what is self-analysis, what is goal setting, then self-esteem and how to build self-confidence. Also, we have understood the interpersonal skills and how we can develop the interpersonal skills. In the previous session, we have understand the Johari window approach for understanding people's social behavior with the help of that 2 by 2 matrix. Now, as you are very clear with all the basics of this unit, today we are starting with the next point of this unit, that is ability to work in a team. So be a team leader, adapt in different cultural and work styles. So the skills which are needed to take on task focused team roles includes organizing and planning skills. So being organized is essential to getting task done. So when we are working in a team, the team consists of many people, the individual's attitude and personality is different, the way of thinking is different, and when we are working in a team, it is very essential to be act as a team player. So you need to adapt with different cultures, so you have to be task focused for that purpose. And when you are working in a team, you have to be a good decision making skill. Then also you have the problem solving approach. You require the communication skills. You have to effectively communicate with group members. You have to transfer your message clearly, and it must be understood by the audience. Then persuasion and influencing skills. Then feedback skills. Then skills in chairing meetings and the conflict resolution. So these are the things which needs to be there. So when we are organizing and planning, we require these particular skills when we work in a team. Conflict resolution. So what is team building? Team members and leaders must work hard to achieve teamwork. Team building helps in achieving teamwork. So what exactly team building? A sequence of planned activities designed to gather and analyze data on the functioning of a group and to initiate changes designed to improve teamwork and increase group effectiveness. How team building works? So there are 5 stages or the steps of building a team. First, problem or opportunity in team effectiveness. Second, data gathering and analysis. Third, planning for team improvements. Fourth, actions to improve team functioning. And fifth, evaluation of results. So when we are talking about building team, we have to follow the 5 step process, and which will help us to find out the problems and opportunities in team's effectiveness. We can gather the data and do the analysis, and accordingly we can allocate that to the team members. And if there will be changes which are required, so we have to be plan for the team improvements. Then we have to be ready with the actions to improve the team functioning, how effectively we can carry out the task, and at the end evaluation of the results. So with the help of this we can uh, build a team. So what is team building then? Team building activities help team members to see each other in new perspective. It facilitates collaboration, connection, and teamwork. One of the most powerful reason for team building is that to reach set results and goals. Through a series of planned team building bonding activities, personally selected for each team, such skills as communication, planning, problem solving, conflict resolution, and much more can be improved. Team building activities help to facilitate long term improvements and set the higher rate of productivity as well as success. What are the approaches to team building? So, the first is formal retreat approach, which means that team building occurs during an offsite retreat. Then second approach is continuous improvement approach, where we have to be the managers or the team leaders or the members take the responsibilities of ongoing team building. Then the third approach is outdoor experience approach, where members engage in physically challenging situations that requires teamwork. So all these approaches will help us to understand the teamwork building and the teamwork skills. So what exactly teamwork skills? These skills are required, the qualities and the abilities that allows you to work well with others during conversations, projects, meetings or other collaborations. Having teamwork skill is dependent on your ability to communicate well, actively listen and be responsible and honest. So the importance to team building is setting the goals first, then rules clarification, then the problem solving, the interpersonal relations, then teamwork and cultural diversity. It is an increasing globalized world. More of us will work in diverse social and cultural teams. So changing workforce demographics, international networking and mobility, and organizational change strategies have all contributed to a growing need to recognize and manage social and cultural differences within teamwork. This is wonderful thing because diversity in workplace has so many benefits, and it provides a mean of drawing on the full range of skills, abilities, educational background, and experiences offered by a diverse workforce. It also encourages innovative thinking, good decision making, greater flexibility, and more opportunities for managing strategic change. And most importantly, for teamwork, diverse groups are more effective in developing, identifying, and solving problems. Then, recognizing and managing team differences. The challenge for diverse team is how to preserve the diversity that fosters decision making and creative conflict, yet also encourages group norms that engender team harmony. Different cultural backgrounds can affect approaches to teamwork in the following ways. So, attitude to power, status, and authority. National cultures differ on many dimensions, but a key one is the extent to which hierarchy, status, and seniority is observed, also known as a power distance. A country that is low on power distance, such as Australia, tend to encourage more equality in teams. That is, we are all the same. For team members from countries that observe status, power, and authority more closely, example those higher on the scale of power distance, such as many Asian countries are there. So, this approach may make them feel uncomfortable and less likely to speak up. Someone from a low power distance country may misinterpret this as lacking confidence, knowledge, or skills. By contrast, people from higher power distance countries may perceive low power distance behaviors as being disrespectful. Then, decision making. Uncertainty avoidance is another cultural dimensions. This impacts the speed with which people make decisions and their propensity to be comfortable with risk. Cultures that avoid uncertainty often requires a lot of more information before making a decision, as they tend not to like ambiguity This can cause the decision making process to take more time. Appropriate channels of communication, like high and low power distance, there is a high and low context communication. People from low context countries tends to have a more direct and assertive communication style, which can be considered rude by those from high context countries. Conversely, someone from a high context country often has a more indirect speaking style and is less likely to speak up if they disagree, which can be frustrating for a low context communicator. Enhancing the effectiveness of diverse teams. Given some of the differences, we have looked at how each can of us ensures the effectiveness of diverse team. Here are a couple of approaches for you to consider. Encourage adaptations. Cultural differences should be acknowledged, respected, and appreciated. In other words, everyone should be willing to be flexible and adaptable when working in a team with people from different backgrounds. When deciding who should be a team member, choosing people who have this mindset is important. This is one of the reasons why international experiences is highly valued by employers. It shows that have the skills to operate in culturally diverse environment. Structural interventions, establishing a rotation and or breaking down roles of the team into smaller groups are two things often considered if problems emerge due to cultural differences. If possible, this should be a last resort rather than a first response. Then set ground rules. Team norms should be established so there is a common agreement about acceptable behaviors. Even taking the time to articulate a problem solving process that everyone can accept can encourage team cohesion. This means that team norms become the focus rather than having cultural differences to be at the center of attention. So, how to be a good team player? So, first, you have to be meet your deadlines. You have to follow all the deadlines which are given by the team members. Then be open minded, always accept the challenges from the group members and be ready to answer all the problems. Then appreciate other people's work style. Then adapt quickly. Avoid office politics because it is one of the thing where everywhere it seems that only because of the politics majority of the teamwork is going to be collapse. Focus on the team's goals. Celebrate your peers successes. So if you will work on that, you can become a good team player. So today we have understood how to build a team and how to become a good team player. So we'll stop here and in the next session we'll see the next one.